1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Yay! Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I recorded that first part last month. I forgot to re-record after I hit 1,000. I like to talk about a wide array of topics, like things that are relevant, things that are niche. Now let's complete the trilogy and talk about something incredibly niche. Toontown was a game created in 2003 by Disney, and it was fucking metal. This game put robotic capitalistic corporate monsters against a bunch of 9-year-olds, and it was sick. If you've never heard or played Toontown, here's a 20-second rundown. Toontown Online was a game created by Disney Online in 2003 where you play as anthropomorphic animals killing capitalist robots with gags, which are weapons but for kids. In the game, you start in Toontown Central where you complete tasks to help the people in the various playgrounds before moving on to the next playground. You can also defeat the 4 cog bosses by getting your cog disguise parts and defeat the various cog bosses. There are also mini games such as racing, golfing, and the trolley, which sucks unless you have friends. Good job, editing Tony. Thank you, editing Tony. Now, while he was doing that, I was getting nostalgic over my past experiences. Now, if you've been paying attention and not focusing on my mic quality, I've been using was instead of is. That is because in 2013, Toontown and 2 other Disney Online games were shut down. Now, I, being a normal 10-year-old at the time, immediately proceeded to cry. Now, that was September 19, 2013. Now, let's flash forward to October 28, 2013, when a reboot called Toontown Rewritten was being opened for alpha. Now, this was a very closed and limited alpha, meaning only select testers could play it. However, on August 20th, 2014, a full year after Disney announced the shutting of Toontown Online, Toontown Rewritten was finally open to the public. Toontown Rewritten is a pure, faithful reboot for the original fans of the game to keep playing. Nowadays, Rewritten are typically credited with being the first reboot of the game, as they are the most popular, and I think they came out before any others. You might be thinking, how is there more than one version of Toontown, Anthony? And to that I say, fair question. You might be surprised to learn that there's not just one reboot, but several. Reboot. And I'm going to play every single version of this game that I can find. And what better to start off with than Toontown Rewritten? Coming out in 2014, Toontown Rewritten is just what the entire community needed after Disney had shut down the game only a year earlier. This version is a near identical version of the game we all grew up with. However, it's incorrect to say they're exactly the same. A few changes that I can list off the top of my head, like knockback has been changed, there's been new accessories and events, some loose gameplay modifications here and there. There's a reason some people call this vanilla Toontown or classic Toontown when talking about reboots. There's not really too much more positively I can say about this game other than that I highly recommend this one. However, there's one big criticism that I and a lot of big Toontown YouTubers have. Yes, I'm absolutely implying I'm a big Toontown YouTuber. Not to flex, but 100 subscribers. That after you beat the game and max everything, there's really no major updates in sight to give you a reason to keep playing. A lot of veterans end up leaving the game due to frustration of no new major content being added. But where do they go? Well, they usually go to Toontown Corporate Clash. Toontown Corporate Clash is not nicknamed Toontown for veterans lightly. This game may look like Toontown and have the same mechanics as Toontown, but there's a completely new storyline, new cogs, new gags, new playgrounds, there's new tunes, color pickers, While Toontown Rewritten is often criticized for not adding new content, Corporate Clash does not follow suit in any way. While Rewritten is very fun and nostalgic, it honestly loses its challenge and fear after you get to about 100 laugh or so, and you've seen everything there is to see in the game. Let me tell you, Corporate Clash is not like that at all. At least not yet. I haven't finished the game. First off, the cogs don't stop at level 12 anymore, as they can go up to level 18 now, which are brutal. There are new .exe cogs which have 50% higher health, do 20% more damage, and can miss your attack by, I think, 1.5% more. This is like the one thing I didn't fact check. Gags have also been balanced. Lure has always been an overpowered gag at heart, but the devils who work at Corporate Clash decided to make an ever-increasing chance of the cogs missing while being lured. I'm kidding, the staff are quite lovely at Corporate Clash. Hey Loopy, please DM me, you're cool. The whole game just feels more new and alive, even if there aren't nearly as many people playing as there are on Rewritten. There are certainly things to critique, mainly how often the servers will crash, but I think this is my personal favorite out of the reboots I've played so far. However, let's get into the games I'm not as familiar with, starting with Toontown Offline. Now, some may say this is just Toontown Online, but single player. Modeling a bit to what Corporate Clash was doing, Funny Farm is a single-player version of Toontown. This is quite daring considering how Toontown is designed to be a massive MMORPG that you can't just play yourself. This game has been in the works since August 17, 2014, and was modeled after Funny Farm, a playground that was in the conceptual phase of Toontown Online. However, Funny Farm didn't get much farther than that due to the streets being fucky-wucky. This game feels like a miniature, more laid-back Toontown corporate clash, and when I say miniature, I mean miniature. I mean the game literally has one street, one completely new playground, but a new task line and almost completely new tunes. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this despite the little content that's currently available now. Joining the Discord server they have shows why there hasn't been much progress more than what they currently have right now. They're a very tiny staff team and their efforts are very admirable. A huge plus is that there's no censor. Yes, you can say all the things you wanted to for years, like fuck, pussy, bitch. You can make your tune a lot of colors with any name. And now they say you have to get it approved by the Toon Council, but that's a fucking lie because I made my name Fortnite, so you could probably get away with much more vulgar names. Like fuck. Dick. Regardless, the new task line so far has been interesting. The cutscenes work pretty well with no real bugs that I could find yet, and there are elite cogs. I think at least that's what the only other cog I could find outside of Rickety Road was. Well, I think it's admirable. It's also a criticism of mine with the progress they've currently achieved over 6 years. It's fair that they have a very small dev team, but Toby Fox is just one guy who made Undertale in 2 years and 8 months, which is a completely original game. This is a reboot of a popular franchise, admittedly with more new content than copy content, but it's still something to consider. I still recommend this one. You could probably complete in like a day or 2 days. Now let's move on to Toontown Fashion. I'm gonna be real, the only reason I think this reboot was on anyone's radar is the fact that you can pick which gags you start out with. However, the fact that Corporate Clash includes this and so much more renders this reboot almost entirely pointless. Let's get into the positives. The quad experience you get during invasions is a huge plus for me. Training is a huge grind at Toontown, and the quad experience makes training seem to be a breeze at least, as long as your gags hit. The library had an update, and that looks pretty nice. You can also change the battle camera to be active, which gives it these dumbass pans, which are very amusing at times. Now to pick my gag, I rolled a D&D 6-sided die to determine which gags I chose, eliminating Tune-Up because there's literally only 6 people on the entire game, including me, so what the hell was the point? Trap was 1, lure was 2, I rolled a 1 and a 6, aka trap and drop, which meant I had drop and a useless gag. This was amusing until drop's notorious shit accuracy kept coming into play, having me running back to the playground more than I should have. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I did not enjoy this. If it wasn't for being able to pick your gags to start out with and train, this would have no purpose. I hate being this cynical, but this game just feels like a lesser Toontown, and it shows. When I was playing, I was literally one of the only 11 people on the entire game. Even Corporate Clash has at least 100 people on at one given moment. I don't like comparing to unlike things. See my Orion video, for example. But it feels like they took Toontown and only adjusted certain things. Some of the design choices are strange, to say the least. The text is spaced out strangely. The cog text looks different, but not in a good way. Sometimes the cogs are just 2D textures that follow you. This was the most terrifying thing I've seen this entire month. I'm sure the staff mean well here, but I didn't see much of a reason to keep playing, which is a shame considering how long game development takes, even if you're making a reboot. The game crashed on me, and I was not complaining. If anyone at the Fellowship team works on this game and sees this video, don't take this as me hating on you. The game's just lost in the sea of more creative reboots. Now let's stray away from vanilla Toontown with our next game, Tooniversal Studio. Now, I knew literally nothing about this reboot before playing, except for the fact that there was a new gag track and a new cog type. After playing it, I'm pleasantly surprised. There are new cogs called press bots and a new gag called spin that I haven't been able to try yet, but the new stuff they added felt more genuine than less trying to be different. I don't even know whether to label this as a positive or negative, but let's just get it through. I made a blue hedgehog called Silly Sammy, and let me just say, every time I entered or left a playground building, even once in the middle of a battle, my species and colors changed. If this is how the game's supposed to function, why? I mean, I was laughing more than being angry, though, so if it is on purpose, it's a weird choice. Another positive is that level 8 cogs are actually on the streets of higher playgrounds. I mean, I even saw a level 11 walking around, which is sick, bro. The cog information also shows you the attacks the cogs can do and the max health it can drain, which is a big positive. Some negatives also go hand in hand with the Fellowship critique, where there was like no one on the game. I mean, there were 30 people on when I started, but like 20 when I stopped playing. Also, the changing tune/color thing, I don't know if this is a glitch, but it's too weird. Also, I know this is probably personal taste, but some of the board bots look way too human or just way too weird. Gameplay felt fine, there wasn't anything too egregious. Now, would I recommend this? Sure, but it's not the end of the world if you miss this one. Before I get into the most ridiculous ones, let's spit some honorable mentions. Yeah. Honorable mention, Toontown, Japan. Yeah. As far as I know, this was just Toontown Online, but in Japanese. The only reason this game is mentioned is due to the 7-minute long compilation of promotional footage of the game I could find on YouTube. I prefer the dubbed version. They took one of the iconic Toontown teasers explaining how cogs were made, but in Japanese. Fakuanata wa shukurugi magdaganata wa subiti odinashi na shimatishita. I'm so sorry, Japan. One being a very angry cat explaining cogs and what they do, which ends with him presumably being fucking murdered, and a 2-minute long commercial for the game, game, which surprisingly gave me massive nostalgia, even though I only played the English version. Now, I checked out the link at the end of the promotional video to make sure I couldn't play it, and rest assured, the game presumably shut down along with Toontown Online. There's also Toontown Germany, but I couldn't find anything else on it. I'm gonna be real, I just put Toontown Japan on this list because of the teaser videos. However, that's not my favorite honorable mention. Now, I owe this entire segment to Chazars, who showcased this amazing game. I'll link the video down below, it's fucking hilarious. To put it lightly, this game was not Toontown, not in the sense that it's a different mechanic system and new content. No, the game was just fucking broken. The proportions were all wrong, the shading was non-existent, everything just looked bad. This game looks like how a deadbeat parent treats their children. Also, may I mention, this game was fluent in my favorite language, almost English. I sadly never got to play this one, but it will never die in my heart. Once again, thanks to Chazars for his amazing video, link is in the description. Now, the final reboot. Now, all these games have the same mechanics at its core. It's what makes Toontown Toontown. You play as a Toon, battling cogs, picking from a list of gags to progress to your next task. Every single reboot, even Toontown House, did that. However, I found something that dares to defy all known expectations, and those are... Yep, you see that title card, right? These are fucking flash games for Toontown. While researching for this video, these just happened to stumble upon my radar, and I did absolutely no research before playing them because I wanted my genuine reactions recorded. And after playing them, I can say, some of these suck, and some of these kick major ass. Let's go left to right like I did before. Neopets game is just you against a Mr. Hollywood with 10 health when they usually have at least 90, and it's fine. You buy gags for overcharged prices that deal a questionable amount of damage. You have to time your click in a sliding bar. If you click in the green, you hit the cog. If you don't get hit in the red, how? I played on easy, but I checked at the end, all the difficulty does is just speed up the bar. This one is meh. Card cog is easily the best one. There are 3 options. Level 1 drop, level 3 drop, level 6 drop. Here's the game. You click one of those buttons, it hits the bean counter or downsizer, it dies, and that's it. Automatic 10 out of 10. Best one here so far. Next one is Cog Crush. You have boss bots starting out at level 5 and roughly 6 gags per level. This one starts out fine and then gets borderline impossible. The Corporator level, I think you have to not miss a single gag to succeed in that level, which I was not able to before I gave up. Yes, I gave up. This one is bullshit. Cog Invasion Squirt is just Cog Crush. What the fuck, guys? Cog Invasion Throw, however, is fine. I did this with ease. It's basically a bunch of 2D cogs coming towards you, and you have to hit them with throw gags. And that's it. It's very easy. Laugh Lanes is bowling. And bullshit. Memory Game is better than Toon Memory Game, which is not a compliment by any means. It's just a basic memory game. The best part is, though, you can just keep clicking and the images on the cards will stay for like an extra 3 seconds. I mean, you can click like every card and figure out where everything is, which is how I beat this game twice. It's very easy. Puzzles 1 and 2 are just those photo puzzle games where you have a full photo shuffled into a random amount of pieces, and you have to put it back together. Pretty simple, right? That's because it is. The only thing that makes this game difficult in any sense is that random PNGs of cogs will pop up, and you have to click on them to make them go away. However, it makes a cool noise when you click them, so that made me happy. Now, you can speedrun this game in literally 1 to 2 minutes. I guess I recommend this one. Throwing game is our stand-in for Toontown Japan. The screen is cluttered as shit. You play as Flippy with 6 laugh and random low-level cogs spawn on top of the millions of buildings which architects would only think of if they dropped acid. This game is kind of bullshit. You could curve the pie throws, but that's like the only cool thing. I still recommend this one. Now, our last game, because the last 2 are just a copy of Throwing Game in Japanese and a game that doesn't even load, is Toontown Shoot. And god damn, this game fucks. I'm cutting the chase. This one was the best one. Easiest recommendation I have for this entire video. Go play this game if you have time to only play one. This game rocks. You play as Knockoff Flippy in Toontown Central as level 1 cogs descend upon you. At the bottom of the screen, there are the symbols for BossBot, CashBot, LawBot, and Sellbot, and so on. You have to match the icon with the cog type coming after you. If it's a BossBot, throw a BossBot coin at it, CashBot, etc. The controls are so responsive and easy to pick up. The gameplay is just fast enough at the start to give a tiny bit of a challenge, but still pique your interest. And by the end of it, the cogs are coming real damn fast, and you have like no room for error. This game does have kick-ass music, but if it was rock music in the Toontown theme, I just hit the cogs with the wrong one twice, but I did not lose a single life. God damn, this game is awesome. Anyways, that's been all the games. Here's the conclusion. Toontown is a game that's very nostalgic for me, and I'm still kind of bummed that it died. Despite me clowning on some of these reboots, I'm truly glad that all these versions exist. Toontown, while my favorite game from my childhood, was by no means a perfect game. If anything, it was majorly flawed. But it was so simple. It was such a great game that anyone could enjoy. So many people could get something out of it, and I love that. These reboots get to show people's creativity when it comes to this game, showing ways they could improve or modify the game they grew up playing. As someone who is interested in game design, I see it as very noble to me. All these reboots are completely free, and I know for a fact Rewritten doesn't accept any money into their project, which is fucking crazy. However, they legally have to do that, so they're like moderately insane, is that? Regardless, video game design and management is a very strenuous feat, and anyone who works on any of these reboots should be proud of themselves. I hope you had as much fun working on them as I did playing them. Even for you, fellowship. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Oh, quick tangent. Hey, I used to be friends with a cat Toon called Blue Raspberry and Rewritten. My Toon is a red cat named Fireball Cheesy Bubble. Sick name, I know. I know her name, but I'm not going to use it because that's weird. Regardless, Blue Raspberry, if you're out there, please message me. You were cool as hell, and you haven't been on for like a year. Anyways, back to the outro.